so much. Minister, like we all do realise that there has been a lot of good things in the budget for parents. If you look at the reduction in the National Childcare Scheme and other benefits for young and the new parents. But my biggest issue is, Minister, is a place for children. We in Carlow alone have children on trying to get into a creche, trying to get into a childcare facility, and they're over a year waiting. And while I welcome the funding and how hard you've worked, it's a child getting a place is the biggest issue I'm facing, which is affecting a family and their parents. But this is an example, Minister, that was given to me a few months ago, and I know I spoke to you about this, and I'm just going back now. If you look at core funding, so just an example of the core funding, if you look at the Carlow core funding threshold band is 189.13, and if you live in Dunleary, your core funding is 316.82. Now, Minister, at the end of the day, Carlow, Dublin, Kilkenny, Waterford, whatever, there needs to be changes within your core funding system. Everybody has to operate a facility or a creche, whether it's through you pay your ESB, you pay all your other outgoings, you pay your staff. But I think the biggest issue that's going to happen here now is I see that we have the new allocation of the SNAs to schools, and that's really welcome. That was in the budget. But I think a lot of the sector is going to go there, because the biggest issue is that they're finding recruitment really hard within the sector, and we need to, of course, pay the proper wages. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Thanks, Deputy. You're right, we do need to pay them proper wages, and that's why I made that allocation in what I announced yesterday, just for pay. And that will only flow to providers if there's an agreement to increase pay. And we still need to go further, though. I don't think that's the end of the pay discussion by any means. And the point you're making about the need for a place, and it's very similar to what Deputy Farrell is talking about, and what we've actually spent most of the morning talking about, is in next year, there's 25 million for capital funding, and that will be used. It can be drawn down by private providers or indeed by community providers as well. I suppose the question, and I think it will ultimately be a question for the next government, is in terms of where capital is available. Is it available for the community sector? Is it available for the private sector? Or if we decide to take an approach where there's a more public involvement, direct public provision, is that where the capital goes? Because, you know, nothing is unlimited, and I think that will be a strategic decision that the next government takes. It's something I'm talking in my non-ministerial role. It's something I'm considering at the moment. I'm sure it's something other parties are discussing as well.